To start off our week, I've got birthdays, I've got a cruise, I've got a little bit of news when it comes to Discovery, and as always, a little bit of a Star Trek Legacy / Letters for Legacy update. This is the Star Trek Void, where I try to fill in the gap between new episodes with a little bit of news, a little bit of information, and hopefully a bit of entertainment. And unfortunately, this week, I do have a bit of bad news to start us off. This one is shared by Star Trek on Instagram. It's with profound sadness that we share this news of Kenneth Mitchell's passing. His vibrant energy and incredible spirit touched the lives of many and will continue to inspire us all. Our deepest condolences go out to his family, friends, and fans as we remember and honor his legacy. And Kenneth may be better known for his roles on Discovery. He played Cole, Colshaw, Tanavek, and Aurelio. He also did play some voice parts on Lower Decks as well. And while his contributions will be missed. This past week, we also celebrated the birthday of one of our leading ladies in all of Star Trek, Major Roddenberry. She was, of course, best known as the voice of the computer and Nurse Chapel in the original series. Her role as the ship's computer continued on through the original series, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine. This post is shared by Roddenberry Official and simply says, "Happy Heavenly 92 to someone who will always be #1 in our hearts." From Eugene. Of course, Gene Roddenberry's son. My mom, Major Roddenberry, was wickedly funny, inspirational, and absolutely a force of nature. She really was the first lady of sci-fi, forever #1. We also remember Celia Lovsky on this day. This is shared by TOSS at night. Kraka, the age is the age. What can be done? Happy TOSS birthday to the great T'Pau Celia Lovsky. I didn't realize Spock's family was this important. TOSS at night. And I love one of the backstories for her was that she couldn't do this. And so she had to, while the cameras weren't looking at her hands, separate her fingers so that she could lift them. I love that as a great little story because T'Pau ended up being such an integral part to Spock's story, and she did a fantastic job, even if she can't do that. And that's all it took for me to start tearing up. So I'm going to move on. To Anson Mount, who of course also had a birthday very recently. I think this was just yesterday. The only reason we're getting it in this video is because I didn't post this when I should have. Bad me. Star Trek on Plus says, "Birthday boy on the bridge. We're sending our best wishes to Anson Mount of Star Trek Strange New Worlds on his special day. What are your top Captain Pike moments?" So best Pike memory. I think the best part is when he is first stepping on the bridge, that first episode after he's cleanly shaven and, looks like Pike again. But he's had so many different interesting moments in the past 2 seasons. I'm just really excited to see what happens in season 3. I don't think we have seen his absolute best moment yet. Last week, also, we celebrated the birthday of Jerry Ryan, also our new captain of the Enterprise G. This post shared by Captain 7 of 9, Jerry Ryan fan. My Jerry pick of the day. Happy birthday, Jerry Ryan. I hope that you have an awesome birthday with family and friends. Hopefully, we will be seeing you as Captain 7 on Star Trek Legacy soon. And of course, our in-house artist for Letters for Legacy, Will, he put together a little something as well. Yet another incredible poster by Will Wong. Happiest of birthdays, Jerry Ryan. Have a great one. And still willing, Star Trek on Plus to give you that greatest of gifts that is the captain's chair. Well, permanently, not just for a couple of minutes at the end of a show. This one is, of course, hashtagging Star Trek Legacy, Star Trek, and Will1971 Arts. Great poster as always, but that's not even close to all of our birthdays. Kelsey Grammer, our poor lost captain, he also celebrated a birthday just this past couple of days. Happy birthday to Kelsey Grammer. Oh, and this is posted by TrekMovies.com, who plays the Lost in Time Captain Morgan Bateson on the Star Trek TNG episode Cause and Effect. Hashtag Cheers, hashtag Frasier, hashtag The Simpsons. Because he gets around, you're a talented guy. Also a very distinctive voice, which helps with the cartoons. Moving right along. Happy birthday, Martha Hackett. This one by TrekMovies.com. Birthday to Martha Hackett, who played Sub-Commander 2 episodes of Star Trek DS9, but is best known as the duplicitous, non-Bajoran, but actually Cardassian, Seska on Voyager. And that one is hashtag Star Trek Voyager, hashtag Star Trek. And yes, she is my favorite Star Trek terrorist. I enjoy her so much those first couple of seasons. And when she comes back for like Shattered, loved it, love it. Happy birthday, Martha. Happy birthday to Celia Rose Gooding, who plays Nyota Uhura on Strange New Worlds. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is Ladies Who Trek who posted this. Gooding studies musical theater, OBS, and made their Broadway debut in the rock musical Jagged Little Pill, for which they won a 2021 Grammy Award for Best Musical Theater Album. We Can Wait No More. Beautiful actress, beautiful person. Of course she studies music. Oh my gosh. But I'm not even close to done with this. And last but certainly not least on our birthday tour is Tawny Newsome. Again, TrekMovies.com shares, we wish a very happy birthday to Tawny Newsome, a big Star Trek fan who voices Ensign Mariner on Star Trek Lower Decks, played her in live action on Strange New Worlds, still awesome episode, and is a writer on the upcoming Star Trek Starfleet Academy show. We are going to move along to the Star Trek cruise, which has been nothing if not a fountain of new images shared by cast members, fans, and pretty much anybody on board. Let us take a look. I had a really hard time whittling them down to like 10 images in a short video. And I am going to start off with Will Wheaton here, who is always fun on Instagram, but from a cruise, even better. It's Will Wheaton posts visiting Caraca with my favorite human, and that is Mrs. Wheaton, of course. But of course, he also is very much known for his bedhead morning pictures, and he gave us one of those too. This morning's bedhead is on a boat. Honestly, his bedhead looks pretty much the same, whether he's on a boat or at home. So thanks for taking the picture. We are going to move on to some more tons of great images here. And one of my favorite posters, Todd, shares this one. Last night on Star Trek The Cruise, my extended Star Trek family did a staged reading of the notorious episode Spock's Brain from the original series. I had the distinct honor of playing Captain Kirk. Oh, I would have liked to see that. The cherry on the cake was Walter Koenig was in the audience. It was a hoot. And we've got Connor Trinier, this turn and she does that backwards. That's just funny. Actor Doug Jones, the Denise Crosby, and of course a hashtag for Star Trek. Great picture. Now I will admit I tried to put these in order, but there were just too many. This one is completely out of order because it is before the cruise begins, but it is a great image of just how much Star Trek fans are willing to put up with to have a chance to get close to our stars. Because looking at these pictures the last few days, I've been thinking to myself, oh boy, this looks like so much fun. And then I see this picture. And I don't want to be a sardine. I don't know. I'm considering possibly going on the cruise next year, and I'm also considering ever going on any cruise ever. It's a fine line, sort of like love and hate. But more power to these ladies and gentlemen for sitting in a what looks like a fairly crowded space while they're waiting for their turn to actually get on the ship. But that wait seems awfully worth it when you have Todd sharing yet another image, this time of Anthony belting out a tune. Todd says, there are days when I think I'm good at things, and then I watch Anthony rap and I take a seat. The man has been entertaining me since 1996. He crushed it last night. His soaring vocals honored the likes of R.E.M., Radiohead, Hedwig, and the Angry Inch Hamilton. And of course, he would be remiss if he didn't give us a bit of rent. That's what I was waiting for him to say. I rocked, I rolled, I shed some tears. P.S. I don't actually have any inferiority complex. I was being silly, and I'm okay at some things. And here is another fella that I was lucky enough to actually speak with. Anthony Rapp, super nice guy. Highly recommend you get a chat with him if you can. I was lucky enough to meet him during the strikes when I was in Vegas last year, and he didn't have any of the regular Star Trek images to sign, but I'd already purchased one and brought it with me and felt so bad because if you aren't aware, he put on his own show last year Without You, and he had that to sign. And I so wanted to get both, but I didn't have enough cash on me to do both and get what I wanted to get for other stuff. And so I do have my very Star Trek Discovery signed autograph, but I kind of want to get a Without You one as well. But if you can't get either, stop and have a chat with Anthony when you can. He is just, I can't say it enough, just super nice guy. Now, it wouldn't be a Trekkie convention on water if we didn't have a couple of images of Star Trek stars chatting with fans. And here they are on stage, a couple of different ones. The first one we've got is Gates McFadden at launch party on 2024 Star Trek cruise. Note her Beverly Crusher shoes. Oh, those are very nice. At Jack's FL 2022. And this one is put up by Kiki. So thanks for sharing that, Kiki. This image is shared by Trek Profiles Pod. Garrett being Garrett, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure he has an I Heart Taylor Swift shirt on, so he's fanning out while everybody else is fanning out, I'm guessing. And here one is of LeVar. LeVar is in the house, or the boat, like trying to be specific about where he is appearing at. Very much on stage, the entertainer, opening himself up to whatever comes next, I'm guessing. But of course, that's just the beginning of the fun. I do have a couple of more images here. This one of some fascinating swimwear shared by Kelvin Wood. Trek hashtag Star Trek The Cruise, obviously. And I'm honestly not sure about this outfit choice for everyone, but I would say it would probably be one of the more comfortable things you can wear out on a sunny day on the deck of a boat. Blue skies, just a little bit of clouds up there. It's got to have been hot. As far as swimwear goes, it's an interesting and, dare I say, logical choice. Now, I think everybody's favorite Trekkie sweetheart is Gates McFadden, and this one, again, is by Trek Profiles Podcast, who shares a question for Gates. When you got the script for Sub Rosa, did you go back to the writers and say, WTF? And that is the episode where Beverly falls in love with the same candle that her grandmother fell in love with. You know which one I'm talking about. The answer is sex with a lamp. Had I known Bev was a lamp lover, I would have played her very differently right from the beginning. Which, from what I understand, when she was choosing which part to read for in her audition, she specifically chose Beverly Crusher because her read-in was funnier than the other ones. And it was that scene where everybody is acting loopy, not because of alcohol, but because the stars are breaking down and craziness is happening in space. The Naked Now, that's what it is. I'm trying to think. And that's what she read. Was one of her Picard Beverly moments there. So I don't know how differently she actually would have read it. It kind of, maybe she wouldn't have seemed so amorous towards Picard because, you know, he's not a lamp. And now I told you I had a very short video because obviously people are not encouraged to record a lot of this stuff, but I have a very short one and it is pretty hilarious. And yes, also another Gates McFadden moment.
Have we retained a useful skill from our time serving aboard the Enterprise?
Well, I mean, I do surgery on weekends.
So, you know, that career to fall back on if she can be a surgeon. And I love that everybody just sort of walks out. That's better. Mic drop. I'm done. We can't come up with a better answer than that. Have a lovely cruise. And while I'm sharing these cruise pictures, this one, again, trekmovie.com, Ed Spelier's crashes Roddenberry Archives event to play with Star Trek props. Says, I've been doing a lot of that this week, unabashed plugging for Star Trek Legacy. And I'm totally fine with that. You plug Star Trek Legacy all you want. It's like a full-time job for some of us, so we're happy to have the assistance. And of course, Ed isn't the only one who's interested in seeing that next leg of the journey and seeing what will happen to characters in the future. His character probably most importantly for himself, but we have some others that we're concerned and curious about. In fact, my group Letters for Legacy has already been to one convention this year, trying to get people interested in the idea of legacy. Signing letters to be sent in, just passing around the idea and getting them interested in the idea of legacy being made in the next year or two. For my part, I've already got quite a bit of things for my convention coming up next month. Of course, you've seen the hats that I ordered and came. I have a good authority that several shirts will be here within a week. I also received the backdrop and stand for the booth, so I'll have a place to hang up the posters that I will be ordering very shortly. But nearly everything else is all ready. The only thing I need is a little bit of assistance to get that last little bit of money to get those posters. So if you can help, please check out my link below. A little bit goes a long way. But what about for our other actors who appeared on season 3 of Picard and aren't expected to be on Legacy? When it comes to the future of Worf and, of course, Deanna, Marina and Michael Dorn have a little bit to say about it in this interview posted by trekmovies.com. Interview Michael Dorn and Marina Sirtis on wanting laughs for Troy and to explore Worf being a bad dad. And while that title does kind of say it all, I want to focus on a couple of other things that were asked and answered in this interview. They're asked, Terry Matalas designed the season to be what's called a proper send-off, but others, including Patrick Stewart, seem invigorated by it with a desire to do more. Is that also the case with you guys? Michael Dorn answers, I don't think that people have a clue what's going to happen, which is true. I really don't. I think that they look at something and they may have thought of it as a send-off for us, and then something happens and they go, you know what, maybe we should continue. But you, speaking of Marina, don't believe so. Marina says, I don't believe it's going to continue. Now, I think that that's a really interesting answer considering we are already aware that a Picard script for a movie is already being considered, possibly written. Does that mean they wouldn't include Marina and Michael Dorn? Because I would think that after the season 3 success, that including as many of our original TNG crew as we could would be a big selling point, at least for us fans to watch it. But they also touched on Terry's desire to revisit Worf and find out how Alexander is doing. Michael, Terry recently talked to you about the possibilities of continuing, like exploring the Klingon Empire in the 25th century and Worf's relationship with Alexander. So have you put thought into what you would like to see for Worf if it did continue? And Michael answers, yeah, I think that Alexander, his son, is a good story because Worf has been a terrible father. I think it brings a sort of realism to it. But once again, his ideas are great. I think it's a good idea, but you got to go to the higher ups and see what they say. And so while I have faith that this Picard movie script is going to get put together, I don't have faith that we're actually going to see all the storylines that we hope we will. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, while we visited the crews and what's been going on with them, I did want to let you know that there is going to be a convention in San Francisco coming up in the very early bit of March. This post shared by Andre, son of Moch. Trek fam, I need a simple question answered. This will be my first con as an adult, in the truest sense, as I was way too young the first time to be fully cognizant of my surroundings. So in essence, this is my first. Do cons typically serve food you can buy, or is it a bring your own food sort of situation? Which is a really good question if you've never been to a convention. Typically, there is food for sale. Not exactly always the best. You can get like nachos, hot dogs, chips, but usually these conventions are held near restaurants, so you'll have a choice if you're curious. As far as this convention itself goes, yes, this is Star Trek San Francisco taking place between March 8th and 10th this year. That means just in another week or so. My friend Sean is going to be there spreading the word for Letters for Legacy, much like I will be later on next month. So if you happen to be at the Star Trek San Francisco convention, make sure you pop by, say hi, and make sure that if you haven't already sent in a letter, sign one there. You won't have to worry about mailing it. Sean's going to do that for you, and you'll have put your word in to Mr. Tom Ryan so he knows how you feel about Star Trek Legacy appearing soon. Hopefully in like a year and a half, 2 years. If we work really hard, we could probably get it by the end of next year. Now, Mike McCann and Tawny Newsome tease unexpected cameos in crazy Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5. And now, while there isn't tons of information here, just kind of a hint that there's going to be some interesting faces popping up on Lower Decks in Season 5, Tawny does say this during the Farpoint convention when asked if there's anyone she would like to work with. There is someone that I want to say, but they are coming up in Season 5, and so I can't tell you about it, but I'm very excited for Season 5. And while she cryptically says there's going to be some crazy stuff in Season 5, she also adds this. Season 5's going to be awesome. We've got some amazing stuff happening. We've got some really funny episodes that are inspired by other episodes in Trek. We've got some wholly new stuff that you guys aren't going to see coming. We've changed the format of the show again because we never do the same thing twice. So there isn't a season-long big bad. We self-contain that. Oh, we got to a place that I've been wanting to go in the show. It's so fun. So Tawny's telling us it's crazy, it's awesome, it's fun, and we're going to have some people on the show that she's really excited about. She also points out that if there was somebody she could work with that she isn't currently working with, it would be Avery Brooks. And he is a talented man. I can totally see why that would be a dream come true. And while he has more recently said he wouldn't mind doing some Star Trek work, so you never know. This past week, we also got a Discovery trailer. I know I'm kind of bouncing around this week, but we got a Discovery trailer. And while I cannot cannot show you that. I can show you some of the promo images that have been shared. And these are put out by Trek Central. New promo images get a closer look at Star Trek Discovery Season 5 with new promo images. The crew are all returning for one final ride. Plus, there's a few new characters joining the action. The adventure begins April 4th on Paramount Plus with a double episode premiere. We already know all that. Let's check out some of these images. We got Book, we got the doc, and we got our captain just staring something down. Looks too light of day to be that big old monster coming at him, unless it's, coming at him again. And we've got some Tilly at the canteen having a little something to eat. That's fun. I wonder what a green drink is. Usually the green drinks aren't so great, but I'm gonna guess in Star Trek land, green means good. One of my favorite characters, Adira, talking to looks like a young child, but again, Star Trek, you never can tell. Can be a full-grown adult who ages backwards, or it could be a full-grown adult who is just from people who are shorter in height, naturally. Guess we'll have to find out by watching. Stamets, there we go. Hi, Anthony Rapp, having that little sheepish grin going on. Again, wondering what is going on in the story to give him that face. We saw this in the promo, a year and a half ago? My goodness. Maybe it was the other guy who was writing it. Either way, this is not a new form of vehicle here. Believe they stole it from Star Wars, but I won't go into that. And another image famous from that early clip we saw a year and a half ago. This is Burnham riding on a spaceship, not in a spaceship. And good friends, love to see these two when they work together. Saru and Burnham having an adventure. And here we've got the Doc and Tilly, possibly that exact same scene. She does look like pretty much the same outfit and everything. Hard to change outfits, it's a uniform. Anyway, at least the Doc looks cheery, probably doing his helpful counselor thing. I do love that he's added that to his repertoire, necessary for their circumstances. And another scene we've seen in the clips and in the trailers, here we again, the captain, the captains, yes. But Burnham and Saru, I do worry that some of these are like their tearful goodbye for the end of the season, because I really don't want the crew to be split up even if the show is over. But sadly, we won't know what's going to happen until after the show is aired. We have, I believe, a little less than 6 weeks until that date, April 4th. If you have not heard yet, or you didn't hear me say, 5 minutes ago? Yeah, April 4th, a double dose of that first episode. So have at least 2 hours carved out of your day when you're ready for that premiere. I'll probably have 6 because you know me, I'm going to watch it 2 or 3 times. And that is all I have for this volume of The Void. I thank you so much for joining me again. I do apologize that I was out a day later than I had said. I just ended up having a Sunday that did not have time for recording. But at least we start our week out right, and it lets me check something in our YouTube algorithm I've been noticing. So if you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you enjoy this format, because I do come out with at least one of these every week, though lately 2. And I talk about everything from birthdays to rumors to new shows, old shows, what some of the actors are doing on the side when they're not actually in a Star Trek show or film. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my Patreons and, of course, my members. You guys are steadfast, and I appreciate your continued dedication. The stand I have for the backdrop at the table is thanks to you. So I thank you again for that little bit extra. It really does come in handy. And if you'd like more Star Trek content or happen to like Outlander, please check out any one of my videos after these bloopers, and I'll see you there. This post is shared by Ryden, but of course that's just the beginning of their phone. This one is of course hashtagging Star Trek Les. This one of words, and so I do have my very Star Trek-y signed photo.